Hello, besties. Welcome to Martinez with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. You guys, I'm gonna start by saying that last Thursday, I got so freaking sick. I don't know if it was something that I ate, maybe like a virus in the air, but Jesus freaking Christ, I woke up at 4 in the morning vomiting like crazy. And I didn't stop until like 4 p.m. on Thursday. Then I spent Friday and Saturday in bed because I didn't want to eat. And just was drinking little water. And finally, I got to eat my first big meal yesterday. So I've been so tired this whole weekend. That's why I couldn't come on Friday to do my usual Orange County recap plus the Bravo news of the week. So tonight we are gonna be doing a little extra, a little bit of everything. I mean, we have Orange County to recap. We have Atlanta. We have New York. A couple of little, sprinkle of news that we got today and over the weekend that I want to share with you guys that I think is important to talk about. But yeah, so if you're out there, make sure that you wash your hands. Make sure that you check what you're eating because what I suffered on Thursday, I do not wish it on any of my enemies. And maybe because I'm just a big pussy when it comes to vomiting. Like, I am the worst. I literally cry. I feel like I'm going to die. I'm going to faint. So, yeah, it was not cute. It was not fun. But, luckily, I'm here. I'm still here. I'm alive. I'm able to come on, my podcast tonight and talk to you guys about what happened over the weekend and all the episodes on our Bravo favorite shows. I have a good feeling when it comes to Bravo and the direction that they're going with their shows. Because Orange County is having a great season. It's not popular right now, rating wise, right? But it is given. I'm excited that Orange County finally found that rhythm once again. And I think it's because everybody is clocked in to work. And I mean, the whole Shannon madness, it's freaking intense. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. But then we have New York. New York is having a amazing season. And I know not that many people are watching it live, but the streaming numbers are increasing and I think the interest on getting to know this new cast is also, becoming more popular because at the beginning nobody wanted to get to know them. But as we go into this season, we see them blossoming as TV stars. We have many of them with reality TV star qualities. We also got the mid-season trailer over the weekend. I don't want to talk much about it because it doesn't give you much, but I was not expecting an Erin versus Uba fight. And then we see the beginning of the Brynn versus Sai beef because even Sai said it on her social media that Brynn and her are not in the best place right now, which is kind of sad because we started this season with them being best friends. And I love them both. And we will talk about it later because I want to make sure you guys know my opinion on each and one of them. But let's start with Orange County. Like I was saying before, Orange County is having a great season. This latest episode, to me, was one of the best episodes we had seen in a very long time. The whole Shannon, versus everybody else, it's truly propelling the show to a whole new level because it was coming great. I mean, I am obsessed with Jen, the newbie of the show, because she is truly opening up to us viewers in a way that it reminds me of old school Housewives. On this episode in particular, there was a scene when she was talking to her son, and she was explaining him how the whole process of adoption was, how he got to the house, how they are foster home for kids, and he stayed, he became family. And that truly is a very personal journey that many viewers can relate to. And not that many housewives currently have something so deep. I see a lot of you know other type of storylines, and some of them are so produced that it's very obvious and tired. Those storylines are tired. And I'm looking at you, Atlanta. Atlanta, it was the end of the season, and we will talk about it because that production failed everybody. Fans failed, cast members, especially Kenya, but we will get into it when I get to Atlanta. Like I was saying, that's why I like Jen a lot, because when it comes to her, the way that she shared her life, it seems more organic and more authentic than some of the cast members on the show. For example, Tanra. Tanra has provided absolutely zero of her own life on this season. The only thing that we know that is going on in her life at this point is that her and Erin had to close their gym. That's it. That's all I know. That's all I know that Tanner has gone in the past many years that she was not on the show. So I'm still questioning if getting her orange bag was necessary. I mean, I want to know you guys' opinion. I know a lot of people like her because she's like a pot steer or whatever, but did she need that orange bag to just do that? Because a friend of can easily do it, you know? Honestly, you guys, one of the biggest moments that we're seeing on this episode is how Shannon is protecting John, to the point that she keeps breaking the fourth wall a lot. We saw it in the previous episode with Emily over the phone when they talk to production, and then we also see her. No, actually, no, we see her in this latest episode. Breaking the fourth wall while talking to Emily. Emily saying, "You are in a reality TV show. What are you trying to hide? What is happening here?" And hanging up, trying to hang up, and it's so dramatic. And then you see Shannon talking to production, asking them to not air part of this argument. And obviously production said like, no, fuck no, we're gonna air the whole thing. That was freaking intense. That scene alone was so good. I really love when the housewife break the fourth wall, but in a way that makes sense, in a way that is really like that you can tell that they are not a character anymore. Because let's not forget that these women are used to being in front of a camera. So you can put on a show without looking like you are putting on a show, right? It comes up naturally. It's like you act, but you can't tell the difference between reality and reality TV, right? In that scene when Shannon is literally having a meltdown, that is true Shannon. That's herself. That's her forgetting that she is a reality TV star, and we see the human side of her, the one that is desperate, the one that is afraid, the one that doesn't want her relationship to be exposed to the world. And like Emily said, like, I mean, it's not fair that she's trying to cover all this stuff if she's on a reality TV show. We have had this conversation many times, right? Where housewife hide very important information to the for the viewers to know. And it's not like we need to know everything, but something as basic as a relationship, that it has been very public, because this is not a secret relationship. This is not somebody who we had never heard of. And she kept saying that John is a private entity, and like, no, he's not. He's very public. He enjoys the camera. I met him at BravoCon. He was very happy to to have friends approach him. So he's not this private person, doesn't want the spotlight. He might not be the person who wants to be on the show 24/7, but he definitely enjoys the spotlight. So when Shannon keeps using that as an excuse, to me that's just Shannon, being in love with the idea of the perfect love, not necessarily being in love with John to protect him. I think Shannon is in love with the idea of having a partner, of having this perfect relationship. That anything that threatens that perfect relationship, it's a problem. So obviously opening up about issues that they're having kind of changes the image of a perfect, couple. And to be honest, there's no perfect relationship. There's none. I don't care how you want to put it. I don't care how happy you think you are. There is no perfect relationship. We as humans are not supposed to have anything perfect, because we are not perfect entities, right? So to me, that was really intense. It's like at the beginning of the episode when she's talking to John about what she think is the root of the problem, which is Heather. Heather has not spoken about the relationship on camera. There needs to be a difference where people understand that on reality TV, the root of the problem is not who spoke of the issue of camera. It's the person who opened their mouth to make it a national issue, If you ask me, the person who started talking about it were Emily and Tamra. And based on what they're saying, if the Shannon actually drinks and called them, and then she said like, oh, I don't remember saying any of that. Like, she drinks and then she talks her truth, and then she pretends that never happened. So that to me, if it's the truth, it's a problem. It's a drinking problem, because if you can control your mouth and what you say and who you say it to, then you might want to, slow down the drinking if that is causing problems, right? So Shannon continues to blame Heather on something that I personally believe is not her fault. And the more she tries to cover up the issue, the more suspicious you get to me. And the more I believe that they did have severe problems at home. Talking about Heather, on this episode, we see them purchasing a penthouse while selling their $55 million house. That is, to me, I want to be that rich. I want to be so rich that I can, sell my home for that much while purchasing a whole penthouse looking over Beverly Hills. I mean, I really want her though to go to Beverly Hills. I really want her to be a diamond holder. I mean, if Taylor made the transition from being a diamond to an orange, I want Heather to do the opposite. I want her to go from being an orange to be a diamond, because her money is Beverly Hills money. It's not Orange County money. And I still feel like the problem between her and the other ladies is that she is way too rich compared to the other ones, right? And that's not a Heather problem. That to me is not a Heather problem. That's a uh, other lady's problem, and they feel threatened by her wealth. So I feel like Heather will blossom as a housewife if she is put in a situation where everybody has the same access to wealth. Can you imagine having Heather, with Kyle Richards, with Sutton, and then you have Garcelle in the whole mix, and you have Dorit, and they talk about fashion, and they go to really expensive trips. They just don't go to Mexico every season because that's all they can afford, you know? So that to me is what I kind of envision when it comes um, to Heather buying a penthouse in Beverly Hills. Um, I think there was a part in this episode where Gina found out about what Shannon said regarding her kids and her going to jail and stuff like that. That to me was uh, kind of despicable from Shannon. I mean, that type of information is very delicate. Is not to make fun of, not to use as a retaliation. You know, uh, the way that she shared something so personal for Gina, like being in that position, and then saying that her kids were gonna be taken away. I mean, that was a lot. That was a lot, and I understand why Gina didn't go to Shannon. You know, and even though I mean, Shannon was not, you know, in good term with Heather. It was not in good term with Emily. So I just don't understand how she was like, "Oh, I'm so sad that they didn't come." I mean, you should be happy that at least you have other friends that showed up, because even Tamra in her confessional said, like, I mean, if somebody is that mad at me and said all this stuff about me and reacts that way, I will also ghost them. So that's what Shannon should be happy about. I honestly, what Shannon said about Gina, it really kind of, it felt very below the belt, very below the belt, and I think that's where this whole fight between Gina and Shannon happened. Because if you see online, even in the sense like Gina comment about Shannon's outfit at Watch What Happened Live, and Shannon was going back and forth with Gina online. It seemed like they were really, really in bad terms, but we were trying to guess why, because it didn't make any sense at that point. But now I kind of get why they are having this issue. I mean, I don't think that by Gina mentioning John's issue, Shannon can use that as an excuse to go after Gina's parenting skills and maybe involving her kids too. I mean, it is not an excuse. It's not, I don't know. I was Team Shannon in this whole Gina versus Shannon. But after that last episode, I'm like, how can I be Team Shannon if that type of comment came out of her mouth? You know? The bros put their house in the market, and I, believe that it's nobody's business. Like, Terry said, like, I don't have to explain, and you don't have to tell anybody what we're doing, because it is a very, uh, I mean, the details about selling their home seems to be very, you know, it's like it's under a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of under like NDAs involved, because they want to keep everything secret. Because I mean, somebody who can afford $55 million probably doesn't want to be, reveal who they are or whatever. So Terry was talking to Heather, and you know they said like, "Oh, we haven't told anyone," and I'm pretty sure the ladies are gonna say something, and Terry's like, "That's not their business." Like what do you wanna say? And trust me, based on what we saw in the trailer, they are going to make that a whole storyline. And I agree with Terry. Like I don't think that Heather needs to tell them that they're selling their home. It's kind of weird to expect to be told that, right? I mean, maybe she will share that after the house is sold, but I am positive that the fact that Heather didn't tell the ladies that she was selling her home is going to be another reason for them to pile on Heather. And to be honest, I'm very impressed with the way that Heather is coming off this season because literally every single person on that show has gone after Heather this season, except Jen, because she's new. She's like being friends with everyone, which that's exactly what a good newbie has to do. Stop joining a show with an agenda because you look so disingenuous, right? Because you were not present for those issues before. So come on a show with open heart and open mind. And that's what Jen is doing. Like she's not siding with Tamra because Tamra brought her to the show. She's not like defending her 24/7. She's not always like, being by her side. She is making sure that she creates a friendship with every single one of those people on the show. Like for example, the fact that Jen was the one who told Gina about what Shannon said about her and her kids, you know, speaks loud, you know, because Gina and Jen were not in good terms at the beginning of the season because Gina had this weird, trigger thing with the fact that Jen had a relationship and she was married and all this stuff. So the fact that Jen was the one who went to her, it shows that she is truly trying to get to know each and one of them, and she is able to move forward with people that she had an issue before. Something that many housewives can do, and it's really freaking annoying. Um, so yeah, everybody else has had issues with Heather. Tamra, she's the one who started the whole thing. Then Shannon, then Taylor, Gina is starting to have those issues with her, and Emily too. So the fact that Heather is coming off like as like on top, I'm happy because I love Heather. Meanwhile, Emily and Shannon were having a conversation where they're trying to make sure that they are okay. And I like the way that Emily handled it because Shannon was nonstop talking about Heather, and Emily is like, okay, let's put Heather to the side and let's talk about us. I just want to make sure that we are fine, right? And that's how you handle an adult conversation. Um, I'm excited to see what's coming this week. It's definitely a season that is giving a lot, and as you can see, um, it's definitely having a very strong season, and one. And this last episode was one of the best ones in a while. So that's it. And talking about OC this during the weekend, uh, Taylor was spotted coming out of like a restaurant or something. I'm not really sure by the paparazzi, and she was acting like she was like drunk. But it was so funny. It was so Taylor, like it was so Taylor coded. I loved it. She was talking about the reunion and how crazy it's going to be, and one of the paparazzi didn't recognize her or didn't say the right name, and she's like, "I'm not talking to you. You don't know my name. Do you know who I am?" And then all the paparazzi were like, "Taylor, we love you," and she's like, "Those are the OGs, OGs. Yes, like I know these people. These have been with me forever." It's freaking hysterical. That video to me gave me so much happiness because that video came out when I was sick, so I was nonstop watching it so I could feel better. also, let's talk about the fact that Erica Jane had her opening night on Friday in Vegas. For 1 second, real quick, I just want to mention it. I am not going to say anything negative because I'm trying to keep my mind in a positive place, even though I want to be shady. The only thing that I'm going to say is beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns. And I'm happy for her fans. You know, if you want to spend your money on that, I am here for it. I'm the type of person who don't care where you spend your money. It's your money. So if you want to go see Erica Jane, she's in Vegas and she's wearing beautiful gowns. Yes. Also, Beverly Hills is coming back on November 1st. I'm excited because 4 days later, on November 5th, Real Housewives of Potomac comes back too. So we are getting two top tier housewife franchises back to back that week. And it's happening during BravoCon. I'm arriving to BravoCon on November 1st and I'm seeing Katy Perry. So I might not be watching Beverly Hills live. I probably not gonna be able to watch it until like the next day because I'm probably gonna be drunk afterward. But I'm excited. And then once again, I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch Potomac live because I'm going to be at the Watch What Happened live taping at the Paris Hotel. But we are gonna be talking about it all because those are two of my favorite franchises, and I'm happy that we are, kind of like finally Bravo found a good pace for their franchise releasing. We had Atlanta with New York, we have New Jersey before, we have Beverly Hills and Potomac together. I'm wondering about Dubai. Dubai should be coming soon, and Miami. Since Miami is moving to Bravo, I mean Miami was part of Peacock. I'm kind of disappointed though, because to be honest, I prefer Miami on Peacock. I think Peacock was focusing on Miami for it to succeed. I mean they don't have as many crown jewels as Bravo, right? So they put all their effort and focus on Miami, and that's why the production was amazing. And yet, the same production company is doing it for Bravo. But Bravo has an issue of knowing how to promote their shows when they have that many shows happening at the same time, all right? So I'm a little concerned, but at the same time, I'm excited because one thing that I love is Miami. Miami, Beverly Hills. You mentioned it, I love it. Let's talk about Atlanta. Atlanta, oh God. I don't even know what to say about this season. I'm trying to be fair, but it's hard to be fair with a franchise that that always delivers. And this season was so flat and so badly produced. To me, the problem were the producers. That's what I see the major problem. I think producers picked favorites this season and focus on their storylines, and their storylines weren't as interesting, right? For example, the episode start with Sheree and her daughter talking about the fact that Bob had a daughter, and the daughter of Kenya's daughter, I mean Sheree's daughter, knew about the mysterious daughter, and Sheree did not know. So, and Sheree is acting like she really didn't know, but I have a feeling that she knew because Sheree is not that good of an actress. And once again, I was not that interested. So it felt like a filler, right? I don't even know what we're talking about this mysterious daughter. I mean, we already spoke about it last week. I mean, now we found out that Sheree's daughter knew about it, and she didn't tell her. Doesn't click, doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Another storyline that I felt it was so freaking unnecessary and production focused on it so much was Marlowe's relationship with Scotley. And they had a scene, a long ass scene at the arcade or whatever you call archive, and she's talking about how she's not introducing him to her nephews, but bringing him to the archive. I, I'm gonna give it like a little accent, like a little fancy accent. So the archive. Um, she said like, "Oh, I'm bringing him to this place, so it's kind of like a special thing because I had never brought a man to this place." And I'm like, eh, not impressed, don't care. And I'm very disappointed that we get to see this nonsense of a scene and they cut out the soft opening of Kenya Moore's hair salon with Claudia and Cynthia in the mix. Eva was there too. Like a lot of the housewives were present. The only one who was not there was Marlo. And that to me was a sign the production was siding with Marlo so much they edited out everything that Kenya was truly showing this season. That her salon was her most important storyline beside the surrogacy, right? And the fact that they didn't show it, they used the footage for like a little flashback at the end. That was so disrespectful to Kenya, who has been on this show for a very long time and is literally one of the strongest cast members that we have currently, because everybody else is not that strong. And even though Marlo might be funny on confessionals, her as a housewife is overly produced. I mean, I'm happy at least that we get to see Kenya talking to her father about the surrogacy and what she's thinking about, like, okay, I need to do it this way because I'm at that age that this is an issue to get pregnant. Like my previous pregnancy was, health wise was a struggle. So that's important to show because many women out there can relate to that part. Not to taking some guy to the archive or the archive, whatever it calls. I want to share this message from Erin. Hi Erin, how are you? Kenya is amazing, and it felt like she didn't have much this season, and I miss her. It wasn't enough Kenya for me, and that's the problem. There was a lot of Kenya more for this season. The production cut out. If you pay attention on the trailer, the original trailer, there was even a blowout between Kenya and Sonia that didn't air either. They cut out another scene with Cynthia when Cynthia first arrived. Was not at the restaurant like we were shown this season. It was before that. Was she? There was a scene. I think Kenya was. She mentioned that she was with Cynthia at her salon or something like that. So there was many scenes that production cut out and they left nonsense. And that's why this season felt so flat. I mean, they gave Kenya such a like random edit that didn't make any sense. It felt more like Kenya was the support system for other people, like for Candy, for Drew, and whatever, when she had very interesting stories to tell, and production failed. Production failed her, you know? And as viewers, I felt like they failed me too. Because we watched the trailer. We watched what was being filmed before production, went to edit. Because, we get the little tea and the leaks about events that they film and what they're doing. And a lot of stuff that were Kenya focused were edited out from the show. And Kenya herself tweeted it today. She's like, I'm just very disappointed and sad. If you go to her tweets, you will find that it was posted today because somebody was saying how they didn't understand why her Kenya Moore salon party was not shown. Right? I don't get it. Instead, we get the Drew and the Ralph of it all. Which, by the way, Bravo needs to stop giving these garbage men a platform to gaslight women. Because at the end of the episode, we saw the post interviews after they filed for divorce, right? I don't care what Ralph has to say because we've seen him being a walking red flag for many seasons. And then he has the audacity to use a rumor as the excuse for their divorce. And then you have Corny being extremely corny and disgusting, saying like, oh, she wanted him to adopt the kid so he can have her gay lover, her gay relationship, her gay lover relationship and pay the bills. That was very low and disgusting. I posted on my Twitter, I hate when people weaponizes sexuality because it gives homophobia. First of all, I don't know. Do we know if Drew is really into women? Do we know that? I mean, the whole kissing LaToya and stuff, she said it didn't happen. LaToya denied it. They keep talking about it, but it's a rumor. And now they have this dumb Ralph spreading more rumors. And it's very interesting to me that the people talking about it are Ralph and Corny because it seems like they are on a cahoot to spread those rumors about Drew. Like, to me, they seem more than just cousins. That's just my opinion. That just, to me, was very weird. It's a weird behavior, you know? And the confessional was disgusting. And the interview, the fact that she knew that she was mic'd, even though the camera, if you noted, the camera was facing somewhere else because she thought that she was done. And she kept talking and using Drew's kid's adoption process and then throw the gay lover relationship in as like a punchline. To me, that was enough for me for her not to come back next season because that's not just being messy, that's just being vile. And I was very disturbed and disgusted because I have mentioned it before. I don't like when people start creating this narrative that they need to pull people out of the closet. Like what happened to Kyle Richards and her friend, whatever, Morgan. I said it. I'm not a Kyle Richards fan. I've never been. I don't care for Kyle. But when that happened and I saw how people online were trying to say that she was, lesbian and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, she hasn't said anything about it. She denied it. So let's move on. I didn't even talk about it that much because I'm not interested on fueling a rumor that it's based on just assumptions. And even if Kyle and this woman Morgan are having some kind of DL relationship, it's not nobody's business to out anyone. It's like when Kyle and the other ones were doing it to Denise, I was disgusted. And that's why I hate Lisa Rinna. Because Lisa Rinna was told by her own friend to shut up. And she continued to talk and spreading more rumors. Just for the sake of a reality TV show. That's why this whole Like, oh, I'm here to support Bethany and her lawsuit against Bravo for being, for whatever reason she's trying to sue Bravo, Bethany. And Lisa came out saying, I'm here to support because, production. I'm like, no, out of all the people they should be complaining about production, Lisa Roena has no freaking ground to do it because she was the biggest puppet of production. She loved being the puppet of production. She loved to be the producer. She loved to be the one doing the dirty work. She loved it. And we can go back all the way to when she started the whole Munchausen with Yolanda. And we can go every season and we will find a really dirty storyline created by Lisa Rinna. So she can spare me the tears and the I'm going to protest. She can go protest in her kitchen full of rats. But that's what I'm saying. This whole corny thing with Ralph against Drew trying to spread those rumors, I didn't like it at all. None. And I hope she's not asked back. I don't know why this loser Ralph has to be at the reunion because once again, Bravo keeps giving platform to men who are just plain garbage. Like Tom Sandoval, why he's still on freaking Vanderpump Rules? Why? I'm just happy that this season is over because as a viewer, it was I would say like a C minus, and I'm just being generous. As a content creator, a C. As a longtime Atlanta fan, an F. It was horrible. The production failed this cast. The cast needs to be shake up. I don't know what they need to do. I was the part that actually broke my heart about last night's finale was Sonia at the end when she is explaining that she had a miscarriage because it was not a viable pregnancy. And she had to explain her son. And luckily, she got pregnant again. We seen her pregnancy picture. We seen her, she seems to be doing fine. But the way that her heart broke talking about it broke my heart. And then we found out like 2 minutes before the show ended that Shirette's father passed away the day before they were filming that stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. Those are the type of stories that are extremely personal, but as a viewer, I can connect. I lost my dad at a very young age. I was 18, I believe. Very suddenly, he had a heart attack. We didn't know that even he had heart issues. It was very sudden. He was very young too. He was in his early 40s, so he wasn't old. So when Shira was sharing that, she lost her dad and she started to like, you can hear her voice cracking. I felt it because I've been there, and that's what I want from the housewife. I want to relate to them. I don't want to get upset watching it. Like when I was watching Ralph and Courtney being stupid and talking nonsense to damage Drew's reputation or to try to hurt her in some kind of way. Bravo needs to get it together. Get it together with your guys. The men are always freaking trash. Like we've seen it on Below Deck. We've seen it on Miami with the other guy, Lisa's ex-husband, when you name it, I think we have a couple of garbage people. You know, Joe Gorga, I think he's trash. I don't like him. I actually don't like him. Um, I mean, I don't care for Melissa Gorga, but the person that I do not like out of those two is Joe Gorga. I think he is the problem, the real problem. Yeah, and if you go franchise by franchise, you will find people who you just like, why even giving them a platform after they are exposed as garbage, right? Like Ralph is invited to the reunion. They are divorced by now. He doesn't have to share his side of the story. I don't care. We've seen it on the show already. We know that he has been, you know, flying out around the world, getting his, getting his pipe clean, getting his pipe clean. So that's what I'm gonna say. I mean, I know you guys probably like Eddie. You gotta tone it down with like the cussing and the bad words, but that's how I talk, and I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not a fan of Ralph. I'm after last night. I hope that we don't have to see him again. Let's go to a more fun franchise. One of my favorites currently is Real Housewives of New York. I always tell people I always give every show a chance. I watched the first episode and maybe the second one. What I gotta say about New York is that from the moment that we met the ladies before the show started, I was already invested. Because as somebody who had lived in New York City for a very long time, I see New York in them. Yes, some people are saying, "Oh, Jess only from England and she lived in LA and she moved to New York for the show, whatever." I'm like, I mean, if you had lived in New York City for maybe a month, you will know that maybe 80% of the people in New York City are not from New York City. It's very rare to find New Yorkers from New York City. Very rare. Anywhere you go, people are from other places. So to me, people trying to go after Jessel because she's not, oh, she moved to the city for the show. Well, that's what most people do. They move to the city for something, for work. And guess what? This is a job, right? So I don't buy the kind of like the outrage because somebody was posting it on Twitter saying like, oh, they should have cast people from New York. I'm like, well, guess what? New Yorkers from New York are like born and raised in New York City are a few. So you got Sai for that. You got Erin for that, right? So it does represent New York City. Like Uba is from a whole different country. Guess what? You walk the streets of New York and you will find people from other countries, including myself. So, yes. And even though I was born in a whole different country, I feel more like a Jerseyan because I grew up in Jersey. But if somebody asks me where you live, I live in New York City, and I breathe and my life, my energy, my inspiration and motivation come from the noise and the people and the fashion and the lights and the music in New York City. So yeah, it makes sense. So from the beginning, I was invested, and I'm happy that I did because so far I have not been disappointed with any of the episodes so far. And I think every single one of those girls brings something to the table that is important for the show. Like they are a good ensemble. On this episode, though, we are missing Uba. And people are saying like, why is Uba not on the show? Like, what happened to Uba? If you are paying attention, you know that Uba got COVID and she was sick for 3 weeks. So she was not present for filming for last episode and this episode, right? Whew. The episode start with Jenna having a kind of like a model casting for her products, and she invites Sai. A lot of the people who were being cast for it were people of color, and she invited her because she is Afro Latina, and she wanted her to be there so the model see herself. And that's how you do it. That's how you make somebody feel included. She is not like doing it for a random reason. There is a marketing process, and there is also a human process in this whole marketing plan that she has, because the best way for somebody to perform is when you actually feel connected with the people you talk to. And even Jenna said it, like, I am a white woman, and I want to make sure the people who come here can look around and say, okay, I see myself in this one, right? I appreciated that, and it shows that she understands not only business but how society actually works. She also mentioned something about size. Say, this girl better have eaten because I'm not feeding her. And to me, it's freaking hysterical. The Sai's main storyline is how hungry and how she always complains about food. Literally, every single scene that she's in, she's either talking about food or complaining that there's no food at the table. Because, I mean, if you pay attention, she left Erin's anniversary party because there was no food for her. There was only pig in a blanket. So she went to Nobu for sushi. I love sushi. I would have left too, trust me. When somebody says, hey, let's go get sushi, I'm already out of the door because I love sushi. Talking about Erin's anniversary, Erin and Abe, her husband, were talking about the fact that Brynn made a comment to him, kind of like insinuating that because they didn't say, vows, the marriage is not existent, so he can play outside the marriage. And Erin was not happy about it. She definitely was going to drag Brynn. And she was not happy at all. I am loving Jessel, by the way. She had a conversation with her mother about having kids and how some cultures, like, like she's Indian, so she said, like, in her culture, the pressure of having kids, it's like huge, right? She wants to have a third kid, and she was talking to her husband first, and he's like, no way, Jose, we're not having more kids. And then she's talking to her mom, and they are sharing how, at first she was afraid that she was gonna be judged for not having kids. Then she has twins, so she has like two for the price of one. But now she wants three because that's her, lucky number. She said, like, my lucky number is 3, and she wants a girl. She's hoping for a girl, and she has, like, the embryos and stuff. So she's talking to her mom about it, and the conversation is once again important. This is why Bravo is thriving right now in some of their franchises, because the housewives are sharing stories that are currently talked about by women, and sometimes they don't see the stories on the TV. Like, in this case, we see her talking about the pressure of culture and pregnancy, right? We were talking about in Atlanta, we were talking about the miscarriage, right? We were talking about surrogacy. We were talking about women in certain age not getting pregnant because it's too dangerous, but having surrogacy as an option, right? So that to me is important. Like Orange County, when we're talking about adoption journey, right? The other one who talked about embryos was Brynn. She said, like, she has some eggs frozen. I just love that she makes everything like a little joke. She was talking to her ex-fiance, which, by the way, She left her damn boyfriend because her ex-boyfriend proposed to her, so she broke up with the other guy that she was dating, but now she's not with that fiance, right? His name is Gideon, and they were shopping for very like collectible cars, right? And she's talking to him saying like, hey, I want to have a family even if I have it on my own, but I might go on the route of like using my frozen eggs, you know, because she said like with inflation eggs are too expensive, and I cracked up, man. Like that's too funny. As somebody who eats eggs every single day, I understand what she talked about. Because eggs were fucking expensive at one point. Now they're back to normal price, but there was like a shortage of egg because some kind of like bird flu or whatever. But she's like, inflation and the eggs are too expensive. Um, I love her. I love Brynn. She has a, to me, has like the star quality for reality TV. Her and Jessel, to me, are surprisingly kind of like the stars of the show. Obviously, every single one of them have potential and it has like really interesting stories. Like I love Erin, I love Jessel, I love Jenna Lyon is just an icon. I love Brynn, Uba, and I love Sai for different reasons, right? But Jessel took me by surprise, right? I was not expecting her to be like so out there. Like once again, it kind of remind me of somebody's tweet I saw on Twitter, and it got stuck in my head. Somebody said that Jessel is giving Ramona without the racism, and that's how I see it. It's like it's out there, it's cookie, it's fun, it's interesting, it's disconnected with reality, but it makes sense. It's not like she's trying too hard. It's like that's the way that she is. And talking about Brynn had a like a little Christmas party, like a holiday party for the ladies, and they all went. Jenna Lyons showed up with like a bunch of gifts, and even Brynn was like, "Why are you bringing all this stuff? Or like, are you into crafting or whatever?" You know. Sai showed up in an amazing outfit, and once again she started complaining about food. And Brynn says like she's bitching and complaining. I mean, that's what New Yorkers do best. It's funny because it's true. It's true. We do bitch and complain a lot, but I mean, we got reasons. We got places to go. We have people to see. We have food to eat. We have options. So we are going to complain with food is shitty. I mean, the food that they had on that table was not tasty looking. The guacamole, no, it wasn't guacamole. It was avocado toast. Looked so old. It was brown. I would have not eaten it. It didn't look good. So I mean, don't come for me, but I'm kind of on side. I mean, if you are not serving good food, don't invite me to your party because I'm always hungry. So I get where she's coming from. If there's no food, I'm not there. And the lady were making fun of Jenna because Jenna brought all this gift, right? And when she gave it to them, all the gifts were like branded, like a sponsorship or something. And she said like, no, it's just like collaborations and whatever. So one thing that Jenna is going to do is freaking sell her name to the public. That's, you can tell that she knows how to do it. It's not like in your face, but it was funny because the girls caught it, and that's why they made it a point to talk about it. Um, like Sai said, like, okay, we are. Jenna gave us all this gift. Hashtag ad. The one who once again was not in good, it was not happy was Erin, and she showed up to the little holiday party with the intention of quote unquote ruin it. Um, she stormed out after talking to all the ladies about their behavior at the party, and especially Brynn talking to her husband and the comment that she made, she felt it was very disrespectful. It was kind of like too much. I know the ladies were saying it was just a joke, and I mean, it's Brynn. It seems like she is the kind of person who makes those type of joke, but was that a tasteful joke? Nah, no. It was. I would have been pissed too if somebody makes a comment like that to my husband in a party that is celebrating a love. So, I mean, I love Brynn, but I'm sorry. This whole comment, I'm gonna give it to Erin because it was her anniversary party. It was a comment that was made to her husband. Her husband, I mean, he was laughing, but you can tell that there was a side of him that was really awkward and uncomfortable, right? So I want to see how that developed because I'm pretty sure there's more to come. We got the mid season trailer. There is an Erin versus Uba beef that I didn't see coming. There is a lot of shade at Jenna Lyons for not wanting to fly coach. There is also the beginning of what it seems to be the reason why Sai and Brynn's friendship got ruined on the show. Surprise, a friendship that is ruined on a show, on a housewife show. Surprise. Um, and talking about Sai, I posted it on Twitter saying I love how Sai's main storyline so far is literally complaining about food. Hashtag RHONY, Ronnie, right? She replied to it, not on Twitter, but on Instagram. She put it on his story and said, like, I had no idea we could drag out the hungry storyline for so long. But I'm here to say that things are about to change and I will be in a better spirit. And I'm interested because, based on the trailer, there's a lot of drama coming and I'm loving this season. I'm loving it. I think it's an amazing franchise. I think we are being fed by Bravo with great content. Southern Charm is coming. Salt Lake City is coming. So we have plenty shows to watch during the fall. I just wanted to mention one more time. Remember last week I said that I was doing something very special. At this point, if you haven't seen it or heard it or listened to it, was the fact that I was on Teresa Giudice and Melissa Pfister's Namaste Bitches podcast. I was one of the guests. I got to speak to them. It was an amazing experience. The fact that Teresa spoke to me for a long time, kind of not knowing who I was, which I wasn't expecting it. I mean, interaction on social media doesn't mean that you know the person, but at the end of our interview on her podcast, Melissa Pfister said, like, okay, Eddie, thank you for coming. Make sure that people check out his podcast, Martini with Eddie. And then Teresa kind of like, her face started looking around like, wait a minute. Martini with Eddie, oh my gosh. She got all excited. She realized who I was. What people don't know, because they didn't keep it on the episode that is on YouTube, is that Teresa and I had a conversation afterward, right? Where she pinpoint stuff that I have posted, our conversations on Instagram, like little details that show that she in fact knew who I was. I mean, I don't want to spill too much on it because I think it was a beautiful moment between me and Teresa where I realized that even though I'm not paid by her, like people might think, it means a lot to me as a content creator that the person that I admire and the person that I support on a franchise does know who I am and knows my name and is excited to like meet, like see each other once again at BravoCon because I met her in person many times. We've seen each other many times, but like I never feel like okay, like we're friends or anything. But like now I know that she in fact knows who I am. So that was insane. That was crazy. So I'm just saying, like, if you haven't listened to that episode, you can just find Namaste Bitches on any platforms, or you can go to my Twitter account. I posted some clips on it. It was great, and it was great that I got to ask the questions that I wanted to ask. I was not fed questions. I was not told what to say. Um, so it was a genuine interaction with somebody, and she is not afraid to be asked questions, right? Yeah, it was an amazing experience. So, and also talking about, I was sick on Thursday, right? That was the day that the tickets for the Bravos and all the BravoCon Live went on sale for VIP tickets, right? I was in my bed, sweating cold because I wanted to throw up. As I'm calling my friends to make sure they get their tickets, as I'm getting tickets, I'm like, my brain is like in many places. I got my tickets. Like I was shaking. I was like, please God help me. I just want to make sure that I get my tickets to the Bravos. I got my ticket to the Bravos. I got the orchestra seat. I got orchestra seat for the Charming House Rules, and I got orchestra seat for Showgirls on Sunday. So it's going to be an amazing weekend at BravoCon. You guys have no idea how many other stuff I'm doing, and I want to make sure that you guys are, you know, up to date with all the stuff. We are about September, like 2 months and a half from BravoCon. Yeah, it's like almost here, right? November 1st, I'll be in Vegas for the whole week. And make sure to follow my social media so you can get all the tea from those shows, all of it, and all the behind the scenes and all the interview that I'm gonna do with Bravo Labs and stuff like that. Make sure that you follow all my platforms. Make sure you follow my Instagram. Make sure you follow my Twitter, Martini with Eddie. You can follow my YouTube channel. And like I said before, there is a members only section where I'm going to be posting a lot of exclusive BravoCon interviews and stuff on it. So make sure that you subscribe to that one. Also, please subscribe to my podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, whatever platform you use. I'm there. Make sure to subscribe and leave a rate, because the best way for you guys to help me as a content creator is by leaving just leave a 5-star rate. Wink. I mean, just leave a rate, leave what you want to leave on a comment, because that helped me to survive in this sea of content creators and keep making, this type of content for you guys. And don't forget, you can also get some merchandise on my website at martinwitheddie.com. You guys, that was a lot. That was a hell of a lot. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great night. I will see you guys on Friday. Hopefully I don't get sick again. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I don't get sick again. But I will see you guys on Friday. We will talk about Orange County. We will talk about all the news for this week. And besties, like I always say it with me. Bye, besties!